welcome to Code or Not to Code. I'm Mili Eva, and I'm super happy to be here today. And as always, I'm here with Stefan. How is it going?
It's going great. I still love our intro song. No, not a song, a theme. Still like it is episode 1.
I totally agree. It's the best. It always makes me smile. So I'm really glad we did it. If you're new to the show, the two of us meet every other week and work on our .NET tool live here on this stream. We've been working with using directives and experimental interceptors, but we're currently looking at nullable warnings, and we will continue with that today. If you're interested in any of the other features that we've implemented so far, please, head to our YouTube channel and watch all of the shows. Some of them are super, super funny, and the others are super informative. And sometimes, if you're really lucky, you get both of them in the same episode, like entertainment and knowledge. And before we dive into all of that, please also have a look at our GitHub page, where you can see all of the different social media channels where you can follow us and support us and stay in touch so you don't miss any of our awesome shows. If you're a regular, obviously welcome back. And if you're a regular, you also know that the two of us on the stream, we sometimes, we promise things and we make each other, we challenge each other, right? And because we're doing it on stream, we actually, we have to, hold ourselves to it. We have to actually deliver as well. And we have actually, in fact, delivered on one of those promises we made previously in the past, and we have proof. Yeah. I guess you know what I'm talking about. The show is called To Code or Not to Code, which is obviously from the Shakespeare quote, to be or not to be. I am a huge Shakespeare fan. This is why I sort of suggested this title. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think, when we were creating the show, you had not seen a Shakespeare play before. Is that right?
Not a single one, no.
So obviously, I think I found that out in one of the episodes, and I was like, I will take you to see a Shakespeare play before, the year is over. And yes, we have actually done that. We went to an open-air theater. Here is the proof. And we watched Midsummer Night's Dream. And what did you think?
I really enjoyed it.
Yes!
In the beginning, I guess it was new to me. I kind of had to warm up with it. But then, especially the second half, I laughed a lot. I really enjoyed it. It was really well, and it was really well performed. I had a blast.
Oh, I'm so glad. So it's not just, making good to a promise, but it was actually, I also had a lot of fun, obviously, but that was to be expected. Again, I'm a huge Shakespeare fan and I love those shows, particularly in this theater. It's my favorite theater in Vienna. It's really, really good. So that was one of the promises. We have kept track of all the others we made on stream. So yeah, please keep coming back to see us deliver on those as well.
We have a couple of promises, like 50.
We have a lot of stuff to get through, I guess, and it just keeps getting more and more. This is like the story of my life. Like I solve one thing and 3 more come up. But at least, we'll never run out of content for this stream. So that's a plus, I look forward, or I don't know if I look forward or I'm terrified of the day where the two of us sort of come together. I was like, what are we gonna do in the stream? Is there anything left, or are we just perfect?
There's always something.
I know. I guess that will never happen. As you can always dream. And we also, that's another thing. We have so many ideas. We keep coming up with things, and so we have also like a tiny news section, because I really like the way we started. If you've been to the last stream, where we're working with nullable enable and nullable warnings and the little question marks, and okay, if you're new to this show as well, like I'm pretty new to coding, so most of the stuff that Stefan says is news to me. And and I learned something. And last time I did learn quite a lot in our first kind of like almost like a trivia session. And so we thought maybe let's do that again. And I think, Stefan, you have a new little nugget for me to to learn about today?
Yes. Well, it's super, super niche. It's very unlikely that you need it soon, but when you need it, you know how to deal with it. So this is a bit of a the leftovers from our last experiment. Let's start anew. So let's create ourselves a new class, my class, with void my method.
Mhm.
And perhaps you know that there is in C# there is like the int keyword, and the int keyword from a C# language level. If we hover it, we actually see that this int keyword is referring to the system.int32 type, which is actually implemented. So if you go to system.int32, there it is. It could have been that the language is actually not implementing this where the predefined keyword int, but you could technically use this type all over the place as a replacement for int. Well, it is recommended that if there is a language primitive keyword for a type, to use that. But we could technically return int32 and say return 2, for example, and everything works fine. Now, did you know that for the void return keyword that you can have on methods, but also local function and delegates, also has a backing type in the BCL? So if we go to,
I did not know that. Yeah.
If we go to my favorite site, source.dot.net, we can browse the .NET runtime source code. And if we search for system.void, I should zoom in, shouldn't I? We see that actually this type exists. Well, it's a quite empty struct. Void is really, it represents the void return type. But we can't use that in our C# code. Actually, the language is blocking using it. So we can't, let's say system, well, we already included system. So we can say void here. It will say system void cannot be used from C#. Use type of void instead. So we could say type of. Again, we can't use type of void, but we can use type of, which is returning us the type information of void. If we do a console.writeline, we will get the system.void type printed out. Is there also like a full, the assembly qualified name, which also includes the assembly that this type is in? It's system.void lives in the assembly system.private.corelib. So somewhere in our system we have this DLL. And in version 8, because we're on .NET 8, and it has a culture and some public key token. Well, this is more of an assembly thing, but this type really exists. And a use case for that would be for reflection. With reflection, we can inspect our code at runtime. Well, not necessarily our C# code, because when we write our C# code, this gets compiled to IL code, which we could then ship to any machine that runs .NET, where it is then, when we run it, just in time compiled to machine code, for example, to Win 64-bit or Linux 64-bit or an ARM machine. Well, this is also not 100% always true, because now there is also ahead of time compilation, but let's ignore that here. So what you can do now at runtime is inspect the result of the C# code, the IL code. You could also write in different languages, for example, in F# or in Visual Basic. But there is more languages that can produce the .NET IL code. And let's inspect this return type. So let's get a handle to the my class. So we now have the my class type. We can get the method. So from this type, we can say get method. We can pass in the name of that method, which is my method. which is now, this returns a method info. Method info is in system.reflection, so we need to include system.reflection. Now we get a nullable warning because my method returns a nullable method info. So this could be null. Well, it would be null if we try to find a method that doesn't exist. Now this method is null. We don't get anything printed to the console. But if we find the right method again, we do get that info. And now we can ask this method info, what is your return type? And this return type now again is the system.void type. So we could also do an equality check with type of void to confirm that if you want to find out at runtime if a method returns void, then this is the way to go.
That's awesome. I have 2 stupid questions so far.
2 questions, yes.
The first one is, I was going to ask when you use reflection, and then I was wondering, is that what happens when what the debugger does?
I don't know what the debugger does. But I'm not sure. Well, I can imagine.
Then you're actually inspecting and asking for what does that return and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I think that the debugger needs to, because the debugger now runs actual executable code. Oh. It needs to map back to the original C# code. So it even needs to, so that you actually get a breakpoint at your original source code. It needs that information back. I think this is stored in IL. I think so, but I'm actually not sure if the debugger uses reflection. Maybe. I never have looked into an implementation of a debugger. Could be to find some information to actually map that back to the original C# code, because you need that line information to break at a breakpoint when you hit it. Where you potentially could use reflection is, for example, in serializers. In a JSON serializer, you could ask, hey, please deserialize this type. Let's make a public int number property and a string text. And you would like to deserialize this, serialize this into JSON that then looks like such. We have our number. Oh, sorry, that's quotes. Number 1. And I rarely write JSON by hand. Text, whatever, underscores. So you could now at runtime inspect this type and then know what string you need to produce JSON formatted. The problem is this is actually at runtime. So there is a bit of a performance hit. How you do something like that these days is via source generators. So you actually at compile time via Rostlin inspect this type and then emit code that takes care of all the serialization already. So you save all this time at runtime. So a lot of scenarios that you solved in the past 21 years with reflection could be, not necessarily always is, but could be a use case for source generators. If you have the source of the type, of course, available. If you don't have the type available at compile time, but you get it later on runtime because you have maybe some plugin system. You have your application and a user can write their own plugin, their own DLL, and want to plug into your system, then you would still need reflection-based solutions, because you don't, at your compile time, you don't know what plugins that the user will bring in. So this could be potentially use case for using reflection.
Got it. Awesome. And the second question also has to do, well, not also, but you said performance, that sort of, it takes a performance hit. So the other day, I was just using, I can't remember what it was, but it was something super basic. And I learned it in one of my little C# courses. And I wrote string with like a capital S. And then somebody told me that string with like lowercase works better and is performing better. And I just saw that you also have void with a capital V and then void with a lowercase v. And I just
Yeah.
actually have no clue what the difference is.
There is none.
Oh, great.
Because just as, is there a performance difference? I would say, I didn't know. If there is, then I don't know. I would have not
Maybe it was a
assumed.
lie.
Because if I have method A that returns me a string and a lowercase string, if we look at the produced, so after the compiler runs through it, if you take a look at the IL code, of course I should call this B so that it actually does compile, not IL code, I meant C# code, yes. So because what this is doing, it's compiling it and then compiling it back. So we see that information, what we originally used, is just lost. We don't know anymore whether we used string. I'll now be explicit. I'll write system.string because that's the same thing. Lowercase string is the C# keyword. System.string, or when we have system included, then just string is the BCL type. But it's the same. It's just the same as if you write int32 versus the int keyword, or int64 and the long keyword, and so on. So there is no difference. Now, and if you actually do take a look at IL code, I rarely read it, but we will find that there is, if we find the method A here, do we find the return type here? IL is really terrible. Well, there it is, string, and string here. So no, it doesn't make any difference.
Any difference whatsoever.
That's just a style difference.
Very good.
There used to be in earlier versions of the language and the platform, you can also have pointers, how are they called? Int PTRs, I think. Like an int pointer, which is on a 32-bit machine, 32 bits, and on a 64-bit machine, 64 bits. And now the language also has an n-int keyword, which is, okay, well, there is just no highlighting, but this keyword exists, the n-int keyword, which stands for native integer. And there was a version, when this keyword was introduced, I don't remember in which version, the n-int keyword and the int pointer type were not equivalent. There was a slight difference. I totally forgot what. Now, with later versions of the version, they actually, on the air quotes, fixed that so that it behaves with all the other keywords versus BCL types as well. And now n-int is basically just an alias for system.int pointer, where it is the same. So no, this shouldn't make any performance difference. No.
Okay, awesome. Is it with what is it? Because I didn't just write string. It was like string null or empty or something like that. Does it make any difference with stuff like that? No, right?
Maybe you maybe like string, empty string versus string string.empty. Do you mean maybe that?
Can you write string.empty with a capital as well?
S? Yes.
S?
That's again the same.
Okay, that's the same.
That's again the same because string
exactly
is just an alias for.
Okay.
I think in
then I had been right all along to use whichever one.
That doesn't matter. Yes. I think in some version, in older versions, there was a difference performance-wise whether you use the empty string literal or this empty string constant. Is it a constant? No, it's I think a static, public static. What is that? Yeah, it's a static read only, but not anymore.
Okay.
I think again that's just style.
This is the problem about being a junior. I just believe anything anyone tells me. Just like, I will assume you're right, but next time I will defend my strings.
We
already learned
will
something. Awesome.
do in a future episode.
Benchmarking.
We will do benchmarking, potentially with benchmark.net.
I would love to.
Hoping to get somebody from the team, benchmark.net. And then you can do performance analysis yourself, and you no longer need to blindly trust the internet.
I will be unstoppable.
This is a very tool. Benchmarking was a very tool for me. This may be a very tool for you. Now I'm excited. Okay, now we have 51 promises.
Yeah. Great. But wasn't benchmarking already on there, to be fair? I think it's already there. I don't believe it.
Oh, yes, yes, it is. Oh,
go.
yes, it is. Okay. Still 50. Good.
I was shocked there for a minute. I didn't, didn't trust myself. Awesome. Cool. Well, that was a great start. Thank you so much for teaching me that.
Well, not only you, but everybody, I guess.
Hello. How's it going? So you can see.
Yes,
sharp.
I
am. Nice.
And this I should have shown this first. Hello. Great to have you.
Hello. Do we have any jokes to send back? Do you know any jokes?
Actually, I think I have a T-shirt.
You have a T-shirt with that.
I wear this T-shirt next time. Something with glasses and C#. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will wear this next time.
Okay, but no other programming jokes.
Well, there is only the classic, like the two hardest things in software engineering.
Naming.
Is cache and naming, cache invalidation, and off by one errors.
I don't think that was that a joke though?
It should have been.
Okay, I can only do a cheese joke, but I also think you know it already because it's like the only joke I know, but I love it. It's what does the cheese say when it looks in the mirror?
Cheese?
Halloumi.
Hello. Oh my God.
I told this joke in a group of people before, and none of them, and it was, 7 people including me, none of them had ever heard of the cheese halloumi. So everyone was like,
yeah.
What's the joke? And I was so embarrassed. It was also like my first month of working in a new company. And
that's a great start, I see.
Yeah, it was a great start. Very good for my confidence. Right. Oh, hey, Toast Training. I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to need your help. I already know it. But yes, I also, this wasn't our promise, but something huge has happened for this stream. We can thank Fleet for that. They fixed the follow button in our beautiful IDE. So I think I'm gonna still be slow when coding, but I'm gonna be much faster getting into the right file. So.
Can you scroll up and down again? Ooh, it actually doesn't follow.
Oh my
it doesn't
God.
follow the cursor. It even follows your view. Okay, that's amazing.
Whoa.
That's really cool. That's
my God.
Really cool.
This is super scary. Wow. I am impressed. Well done, Fleet. I think thanks for hearing our prayers. We were desperate. Yeah.
Hello, Skigama71. We are
Yes, we are.
C#. Maybe not too much basics, but we will use a lot of C# to implement the tool that deals with C#. So we'll be a little bit meta here.
Very meta. But yeah, I'm also still learning C#, so you can learn with me. I usually do very basic stuff, and even then I need help from our viewers. So we can learn together. So welcome.
Also, Stuart is here.
Hello! Oh my God, that's so cool.
All our good C# 12 code he helped us with. Yeah, we just talked about before the show about why the early access preview now has Code With Me again. It already had it, I think, the previous one. Hopefully they figured all the difficulties now. Do we feel brave? Should we go for the next episode with the preview?
No.
With the early access preview, no?
No. Well, I feel like we gave them so many chances already. And we can now that we sort of have Fleet like under our belts, like we can always have it as a quick backup. So if it doesn't work,
that sounds
we
fair.
can change that, because like we've really tried with many other sharing situations, and this was the only one that sort of like reliably works. But we're also saying that all the shortcuts are just new and everything's in different places, so we're also losing a lot of time just trying to zoom in fair. And stuff like that, which would obviously be much easier in Rider, because I believe we're both using that more often.
So we will start with Rider next time.
Yes. Awesome.
And have a fallback should it not be just ready yet. Cool.
Awesome.
Yes. Code. So last time,
what are we doing?
We started with a new tool where you can pass in your existing projects and or solutions, and it tries to upgrade it to use nullable reference types if it doesn't use it before, and then spit out all the nullable warnings you get. You will have to give a bit of a sense of how much work it could be roughly to migrate your formerly null oblivious code base to be now null aware and use all the question marks and all the attributes correctly, to also now reduce null reference exceptions significantly, but also communicate to the caller, if it's a library, about optionality, where you may pass in nulls or where you may receive nulls, so that then again the caller of our library doesn't need to do with null reference exceptions. And for that we wrote a little spec. We have it class that has actually Rider has amazing code highlighting features to when we have a raw string literal, that it actually formats it, does the code highlighting as it was C#. So that could be really cool. Anyway, I'm digressing. So we have a method, we pass in a nullable value type and a nullable reference type. We discussed last session what a significant difference there is. And we try to dereference both without a null check. And now we should get 2 warnings here that indeed we do. And if we have some code where, again, we pass in 2 nullables, but we call a method that is null safe, so get value or default would return the default if this nullable value type has not been set to anything. Or we, I forgot the name of this operator, null conditional operator? No, null conditional operator, I think. Question mark dot into the length.
I will believe whatever you say.
No, never do that. Never do that. I think we went through this last time. How is this called?
I think we did.
String A, and we say a question mark dot length. We ask Roslyn how this is called.
Oh my god.
And we go to the syntax tree. And Toasting Training knows it. It's the null coalescing operator.
Nice. Well done. He's so good.
Is it though?
They are so good. Yeah.
It's the condition. Is it though?
Oh my god.
I think that's the question mark, right?
What?
No, I'm mixing stuff up now.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I will trust Toasting Training.
Yeah, that's usually a good thing to do. ChatGPT is our friend. Yeah. I guess in Rider then there is a plugin. There is an AI plugin, so we can.
Think in Fleet as well, to be
also give that a try.
Or like an AI assistant at least.
And yeah, now we don't have any warnings, so we're good to go. And we also implemented that code, and now we have the basic functionality ready of going into our source code, turning on the nullability context, which enables both nullable annotations and nullable warnings in all documents within a project per default. Then we get the compilation, we filter all the nullable warnings, and then add them to this report. But now we would like to display this report to the command line. So we now need to add a new command to our tool and think about the options and arguments and all of that.
Yeah. The funny thing is, we've kind of done that like a million times by now, but I still, like, anytime we do it again, I'm sort of like, what are we doing? How are we doing? Can I copy paste something? What is Toast and Training thinking? Okay, let's have a look though. Maybe it'll come back when I see it.
So we have in our core project our nullability reporter specs. So let's also add some in our CLI project, which is our nullability, which is the library for our system.command line based application that is managing our command line, managing the parsing, the input and output of our command line application. .cs. Oops. Yes, cool. And let's add a new fact. We want to invoke our nullable command and then get displays excuse me?
Isn't the first thing the method name?
That's right. We always do the method name first. But we don't really call a method. Well, maybe one. How do we call it in the other tests? Let's stay consistent.
See, like, I have to check.
Week count. We named we used the name of the command actually. Oh, the count command. I guess we don't know that yet. So to do.
Nice. Okay.
We have a project with.
I love it.
Project with nullable warnings. Display nullable warnings.
Nice.
So we'd like to take over and use our project. We still need to derive from, I think we call them integration tests or something, because we have a type that our integration tests derive from. Yeah, called integration tests.
Oh my God,
so we actually get some, we need a using, we get a lot of helpers that do all the project setup for us and the assertion later on.
All right. Well, we need a project, right? That's a fair place to start. How do we usually?
I think we start with the on the integration tests. We have we have several helpers. One of them is the workspace, if I recall correctly, with which we can build physical projects on our disk, contained in a directory, so that tests, even if we run them in parallel, are isolated.
Easy. And then we need to.
Yes. So this project is a builder, so we can now add new documents to that project.
Oh, add document, easy. Awesome.
I think we can now give it, let's take a look. I think we have several overloads. We can either just pass in a text or we pass in a text and a name. Otherwise, you get some default name. Well, not sure if we will care about the names, or maybe let's just add some text.
Do we need the 3?
Yes.
I can't do 3 though. I can do 4. I'm struggling already. Maybe I can do 6 and then we can do 1, 2, 3.
And this is exactly how I do it too, yeah.
Oh. Bring. Great.
I'm kind of used to always like when I write a method with open and close parentheses, I write open and close immediately and then walk into the middle to fill the rest. Same with the rostering, the rostering literal. I write all the 6s first and then go in the middle, cut them in half. And
I will put the name of the document first because that's easier. And now why the 3? Oh my God. Okay, I will do that later. Oh my God, this is a great start. I am loving it. But what do we put in the document? We need something project with nullable warnings.
Yeah. Well, we could do we want to take this as a starter, the same that we have from our unit test?
Yeah, what's that?
Let's go to our nullability report spec in our core library. And let's paste it in.
And then we need to put this. Do we need to put this somewhere?
Yes.
Here. I think that looks good. And then we can have a name of the document, right?
We can optionally, yeah.
Optionally, we don't want that. Okay.
We don't necessarily need to. Then it gets, if we don't care about the name.
We don't care about the name.
Our tool auto generates one. Maybe if you want to later on assert something by name, then we can always add it later.
Okay, I think that's it, right?
The name, then we can just ignore it. Yeah.
Do we need more documents?
No.
But then we need to build it or something.
Yes, indeed.
But how do we do that?
I'm not sure what we got in there. How we call it? Initialize.
Do we? Oh yeah. Sorry, I didn't see it.
And that takes, I guess, now all the information we need to in order to build a physical project. So we can pass in a project kind, which says if it's classic or SDK style. We can pass in a target framework and a language, optionally a language version. If we don't pass the language version, then I think our code gets you the default language version for that target framework. So if we use .NET 5, we get C#. I should have started with 7 because if we get .NET 7, we get C# 11. So if we 5, then we get 9, and so on. So first the kind. I think you should just be able to hit Control Space to get auto completion there.
Oh yeah. Do we need classic or?
Nah, let's do SDK. That's the.
Oh my God.
The new format.
Why can't I? Okay, sorry, I'm struggling. Ooh. Okay, done. Next.
Then we need the target framework. Let's use, if we use .NET 8, then we get C# .NET doesn't really matter, does it? For our, let's see what we have. I'm actually not sure what we have implemented
we have latest.
so far. We could use latest or 6, pick whatever you'd like. Shouldn't matter.
Okay. And we don't need
.NET 8 per default has language version 12. We could explicitly set it to C# 8 if we want, or we just leave it with 12 because it should still work. Or should we actually put to maybe have a more realistic scenario? Should we use? No, just think about it. Should we use a target framework that doesn't have, like if we use .NET Framework? I think that's .NET 4.7.2 that we have implemented already, because .NET Framework .NET Framework 4.7.2, but also .NET Framework 8 has as a default language version C# 7.3. So you would need to manually bump the language version to something higher in order to enable this feature. So with that, we could simulate an older code base that was started at a time where this feature didn't even exist yet. So let's do that. Yes.
Okay. All right.
And now we would get nullable warnings already because this doesn't exist yet. So what I'm thinking about now is to produce a test where we have code that doesn't have warnings without the feature, but will have warnings with the feature. But without the feature, we don't have question marks, so we can't really do these.
Yes.
So perhaps let's have a method that returns null, and this method returns a string, which we should now get a warning here because we say return a non-nullable string, but after we turn this feature on. Currently, it's oblivious. This feature just doesn't exist yet, so we don't know. Now we enable this feature. We say it's not string question mark, so it's not nullable, because the question mark is missing, but we return null. There we have our warning. So this should now warn.
Nice. All right. Is that arranged? Are we have? Do we
that
feel
is arranged.
Arranged. Okay. Act.
I feel arranged.
Very good. Act. So now we need to do. No, we need to.
I need to run. I think, did we call it one or something? We should again on the integration just have some helper that actually runs our tool. We have run async that receives a bunch of parameters.
Run async.
And yeah, now we need to pass in the command that we want to put this in. Maybe for reference, let's see what we got so far.
Yeah.
So if we jump to our tool, if we would run our tool manually.
Good. What do we do with reference? Cried.
Excuse me?
Live on stream. No, I'm glad. I'm just glad that we have references now. It's
oh yeah, we established some. Is that precedence? No, I'm not sure. Some prior art. There is some English idiom.
Prior art. Wow.
There's some English idiom that I apparently don't know fully, and now I'm saying it half wrong.
I like prior art. I think I vote that that's correct. I'm gonna put it on my CV. I'm an artist. Okay.
Ooh, never put on your CV stuff that you not fully know, and especially if you don't want to really do it, because you know what I mean.
I can do art, especially if it's prior art, right?
Well, then
like that means my previous self was an artist. Ooh. No,
I don't know.
Okay. All right, run async. We need arguments.
So if we run our command with the -- help option, then we get help pages, and yeah, so this is the commands that we currently have with the interceptor command and the using command. And now we need to think of how we call our command that has subcommands that deal with nullable and nullability. Let's take a look at our using command and print the help of that. We have two commands on our using, two subcommands on our using command, count and globalize. That then again don't have any more subcommands, but have options with which we can invoke this. We could optionally pass in a project, and if we don't explicitly pass it, then we get the one from the current working directory if there's only one. And as an argument, we can optionally pass the usings that we want to count specifically. And if we leave it off, then we count all of them. So now we need a top level command and a subcommand for our nullability reporter. Just putting out the names what we have so far. So what we have so far is our something with nullability as a top level command, and then something with reporter. We also had some names like inspector. Nullabilinator.
Nullabilinator was also good.
That we need to run that with.
Okay, but okay, interesting. Can I also ask what we did in with the interceptors?
With the interceptors, we had. Let's actually jump to the.
Because that for me was a little bit more similar. That we were sort of like looking for something, and you kind of just making making something visible. I mean, kind of do that with the usings as well, but I don't know why it was so much easier to name that. It was sort of like, okay, we want to count and we want to globalize.
So we have interceptor check that checks if that feature already exists in the current SDK that our tool is running in. So if the SDK actually knows this feature, because this is a rather new feature and it's still experimental, just to be sure. And we can list all interceptors.
Okay. So, okay, so it doesn't quite fit either, does it?
I'm also trying to bring up the last time we had a couple of discussions on names, but I totally forgot where I put these. Do I still have? There it is. So we had some name discussions on how we call this. Currently we have it the nullable. We have our thing in the nullable namespace of our tool, and it's called nullability reporter. So like we discussed nullability, we discussed nullable, and the nullable nature. Should we call the top level command nullability or nullable? Perhaps also referring, I think our reason for these suggestions were based on prior art. I'm definitely using this wrong. There is the nullability.
Rules are meant to be broken.
There's the nullability info type. There's also nullability info context type that exists in the BCL. Again, that's in the reflection namespace. So you can use this to find at runtime if the return type is string or string question mark, for example. But we also inspected like those preprocessor directives, like nullable enable, because they are all nullable, nullable disable. So I think either nullable or nullability.
Yeah, I agree.
What is your preference? Maybe this audience could help us with naming, because that's the hardest thing. What was I thinking about? Maybe if we take a look at the... So we have, what we have currently is interceptor. And what is the other one? Usings. So we also have, I think, more of a plural thing going on.
Okay. Yeah, but nullabilities would be a bit much, wouldn't it?
Oh, no, sorry. It's just interceptor. And it's just... Oh, it's not. It's just interceptor and using. Because, well, I guess because the using is coming from the using keyword, and interceptor, because, yeah, that's just an interceptor. Okay. So is it...
Let's go with nullable. No.
I also prefer nullable.
Okay. See, you have a preference. I asked you if you had a preference. Okay. Never mind. I just...
No, I just got the like preference now. I guess I argued
okay.
myself into the preference.
Into the preference. Well done. Let's go with nullable.
And then how do we call the verb that...
Yes.
Try to use words that don't try to state a preference. Prints to the console all nullable warnings that we find.
List?
I'm also thinking about... First of all, thinking about report, because that's the report.
Yes.
But why not list? Yes. Nullable list. Would this include that we list all the warnings? Well, report doesn't really say what does nullable report mean. Do we need to be more specific? Report dash warnings, but I kind of don't like a dash in there. I want just warnings. Violations.
Oof. No.
List.
Nullable.
Nullable. Or what we also discussed last time is, because what we kind of do is a what if mode or a dry run kind of a thing. But what if isn't too great either with a dash dry run.
I know. I think report and list are definitely the coolest. I was briefly pondering upon, I don't know what the word is, warnings. but
Yeah.
I don't like it anymore. So I mean, if it's a reporter, let's go with report. And I wish you'd told me your preference.
Yeah, I will kind of go with list now because we have list in interceptors.
Come on.
And we have list in using. No, we don't have it in using directives.
We don't.
We count in using directives. Okay. Well, I guess report is fine. Report.
Okay,
well, we have the reporter, so I guess that makes perfect sense. Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Let's get rid of that. Okay. Nullable report. Cool.
Easy.
And this will return.
What will return?
That's just a task, so we just await it.
Oh, okay.
And now after that, I guess you know what to do. Well, I guess this should also be able to be control dotted, but yeah.
It should be task, and oh my god, I'm gonna disappoint you now.
Not just task, but
async.
What key exactly? Yes.
I don't know. I just had a huge moment. I was like, I don't know. I had like a. Do you say blackout in English as well? That's, I guess, what you call it in German. Okay, that was scary. Wow, I'm getting old. Assert. Woohoo! We need fluent assertions, don't we? Do we? What are you doing?
Trying to. It's a general question. Trying to collapse the left pane. So I guess we want to assert that, our console output. So we want to assert the output that is delivered. I think we already have console.
Yeah.
I think we call it console, the type that we store these output in. Because in our test, we redirect this to our type so that we can actually read it. And I think there should be a should there already, what we built 2 episodes ago with Dennis.
There is. We have R should, and we have fluent assertions should, but we want ours. We want theirs. I don't know.
Oh yes, we want ours. Yeah. Well, should be the same actually, because it now includes the namespace. Yeah. Well, okay. I think fluent assertion also has one object. Does it? No, not sure. Have an output, and now we need to state the output that we expect.
In here. Do we need
correctly? We can do a pattern. Yeah.
Pattern.
So we can do stars we can do stars and question marks if we don't wanna. So we either state exactly what we want, or we can, within a string, use star basically to be anything. A question mark for any singular character, and a star for any sequence of characters, including empty, I think. So if we only want to assert like the middle of it, we can put star, the text we want to assert, star. So we don't care about the beginning. Let's say star something star. Now we expect a string that starts with something, ends with something, but somewhere then in the middle contains something. So it doesn't need to be something. It doesn't need to be exactly something, but something needs to be contained.
Okay, but what do we want to have contained this warning?
I'm actually not sure yet.
I'm actually not sure
because I'm not 100% sure what this warning will be and how we actually print it. So we could start with just maybe it just should be something. Okay. Not empty, I guess. Well, unlike our error, we don't want to have anything in the error. So we should also assert and not have an error.
Have error.
Do we have? We always expect a string. Do we do empty string here? Do we have something where we don't expect anything? No, we don't have. Yeah, then just empty string.
Empty string.
Empty error,
Woo. Okay.
Cool. Let's run the test and see what will happen. Oh yeah, now we can call this nullable. No, actually, report is our verb. Did I abort the test now because I edited the source again? Why does the test not run? Did it run?
I hope not.
Run. There we go.
Because it shouldn't be green, should it?
Should not, no.
Oh, the output is something. Nice. That'd be good. Jam, jam, jam.
Yes.
And it's red. Ha.
Because we expected something, but we got a .NET tool that facilitates development workflows. So,
what?
so
What?
if we give in a command that our tool doesn't understand, it just prints the help. It just does a help. Maybe we could improve this to, if we pass in a command that we don't understand. Well, if we pass in like empty, nothing, then I guess putting the help is reasonable, or dash help. But if we try to invoke something that doesn't exist, maybe we should have an error and say, hey, you're trying to run this command. We don't know it yet. Maybe in a future version. Feature request here. Woo!
Yeah.
Now we have 50.
Now
we have 51
now it's
promises.
51. Oh, it was such a nice number, though.
Okay. Well, now we need 49 more.
Oh, yeah. That'd be awesome. Oh my
So
God.
the command doesn't exist. Let's start implementing it.
Yes.
I'm not all too happy with the current pattern anymore because we will get more and more of these partial documents, partial types.
Yeah.
But for now, we'll stick with it. And
another issue.
We'll now have yeah. Is 52 better than 51?
No. But it could be worse. Could be 53. So.
Just 53 is even worse. Okay. What about 54? Does it get better again at some point?
55 is pretty good.
55 is pretty good. Okay.
I'll take 55.
We'll come up with 3 more issues.
5 is my favorite number, so 55 is fine.
I see. And
do you have a favorite number?
Zero, I guess. I'm not sure.
Okay.
No, I don't know.
Okay. Nice. Yeah.
I totally forgot how we would do this, so I'm basically just copying our previous pattern so that we stay consistent here. And we have add the nullable command. We get in the root command, to which we add now our subcommands. We also have an MS Split workspace and some file system access. So because we may be needing that later on, well, we don't need it currently. So actually, we will need it because we need a project. So yeah, cool. Now let's write our nullable command.
Is it nullable command? No. Command, probably not, right? But it could be. Is
so that's
command?
Well,
new
we
command?
need to. Yes, exactly.
Oh, view command. New command. Okay.
And we can pass in a name.
A name.
Or I think there is also, no, we don't have any aliases on. Yeah, so we pass in a name and a description.
Great. And the name is nullable, right?
Yes.
Nullable, like this. Okay. And then description.
We can go cheating. What we have: discover experimental C# interceptors.
Discover nullability warnings.
I would have something with adopt or migrate. Help adopt nullable reference types or something. Or the nullable feature, the C#8 nullable feature, something like that. Adopt nullable reference types. Or help with adopting nullable reference types. Help us to adopt.
Support adoption.
Support adoption of yes, I love it. Yes.
No, I hate it. I hate it. I like that sounds like a, I don't know, like a pro-life situation.
Oh, okay.
Help with no. I've already forgot. Help to
migrate or adopt, something like that.
Migrate is better.
Cool.
In those.
I
Okay.
do have a style issue with the line. Can you think
is it
of
this
what
one?
it is? No, nothing in the string from a code perspective. The name of the local variable.
Oh, oopsie. Sorry.
Oh, yes, lowercase first. Exactly. Cool. Cool. Now we need to add. So we now have the top level command. Now we need to add a subcommand, the report command, to that top level command.
So we need to create it first,
Create
right?
an yes, we do.
Command. Oh, I should never like type and look at the stream at the same time. It's very, very confusing for
It should be
me.
the same, actually, shouldn't it? Well,
oops. No, it's not though, because this is slower than what I see. This is why I can look into the future, because I also see whether the test passes or fails before you can. So
ooh.
I know. It's pretty awesome. Report.
Yep. So actually, do we? No. What was I thinking about? No, sorry, I was wrong. Name. Report.
Stuff. No.
Put nullable warning. Report nullable warnings that you would get when you enable nullable feature. That's a mouthful. Well, we can always improve later, I guess. Ooh.
The nullable feature? Is that English? Or just
I think on nullable maybe call it nullable reference types again to be consistent there.
Okay. Awesome. Now, yep.
We got a recommendation to use facilitate migration. I love it.
I love it. This is fabulous. No, can you put it up so I can?
Excuse me.
Yeah. No, I can spell it. Facilitate, right? Facilitate. Yes. Awesome.
I think.
Facilitate migration. Easy.
Oh, is that a preposition of, to, in, when?
Preposition. That's pretty cool.
I don't know. Is that? Oh, I shouldn't use grammar. I don't understand.
It sounds super smart to me, so I completely buy it.
It may be wrong. To
facilitate migration of nullable. To? Oh, God. Oh, sorry. Fabulous. Awesome.
And now we want to add the report command, because it's a child of the nullable command, to the nullable command.
I'm going to start with the nullable command. Is there like an add?
I'm not sure. I would think so. Arguments, children, handler, escape, alias, name, add. There is an add indeed. Add argument, add command. Add command sounds good.
Easy. And then report command.
And now we want to add the nullable command, the top level command, to the root command to hook it up to the system command line infrastructure.
Nice. Oops.
Awesome. Oh yeah. No. Yes. Cool. Let's give that a try.
Okay.
V1. And now we should get something different.
Different error.
Now we get a tool that facilitates development workflows. Oh yes, because
okay, good.
Stefan,
that's nice.
Okay. I think we usually order them. There we go. And it's right in the middle, right? Add nullable command. Boom. And we run. And error, but different error. Yes. So we expected something, but
got nothing.
nothing.
Okay.
And we get the full output, which is still super nothing. So we don't do anything, which means we need to do something. So we need a handler for this report command that gets invoked when the command is invoked.
Okay. Set handler.
Set handler sounds good. I'll take a look at the. There is multiple overloads. I can't recall which one we usually use. Should we go cheating and see what we did previously? Or this one. Good. I like this one. So we get an invocation context. So I'll make this a string. No, it can't be static. So we have our method lambda that gets invocation context. And let's do an empty body. And now in here, we have our callback where we have this context available and can grab information out of it. Perhaps let's try to actually invoke our nullable reporter. So if we say nullability reporter, dot report async.
Nice.
We need to pass in these. We need to pass in a project and a cancellation token. Project cancellation token. So how do we get the project? I guess it's a bit of an unfair question. We solved this already. I also need to think. For that, we need this MS Build workspace.
Oh, workspace, yes.
So let's ask the workspace if we can get a project.
Okay. Here or inline? Here.
Yeah.
Right. Get project. No, okay. Let's do proj.
Does it have
properties? No. Dot.
Open project async.
Oh, really? Open project async. Oh.
I just remove one dot here.
Yes. Woohoo!
An open project async in turn requires a project file path, a logger. I think there's an overload without a logger. There is one with a progress. Let's take the. Is there? Oh, okay. I thought there was one, then we I guess just pass not to it. We pass it. Also, no, it's defaulted anyway. Yeah. So we need a path to the project, and we can also pass a cancellation token there. So how do we get the? Oops, I guess I could have copied that name. How do we get the project file path that we can pass in there now? Yes, something with the
Woohoo! So smart. And then
so I think we already have a couple of helpers there that should help us. We have get single project. Maybe let's use that for now, and let's deal with multi-projects later on. So where we assume that we find, this is where we assume that we have exactly one project in our current working directory to use that. Let's assume that for now. Later on, we can deal with what if multiple projects in autocorrect.
Yes.
not so autocorrect. What if multiple projects are in current working directory, but also allow setting project explicitly. Cool. But for now, that should suffice. So we get a single project, which is a file info.
Should we put that, or should we just put var?
I like explicitness here.
Okay. Then we also need to. Then we need to be consistent as well.
Well, I like it when the right hand side does not reveal what type it is. So we don't have file info here. We just say get single project. Now, this one says project. So if the type would be project, I think it's fine. But we can also use the consistency path and always declare it. I never have a problem with not using var.
But it's not
well, we are, yeah, because open project async actually returns a task of project. What do we need to do to unwrap that?
Oh.
Since it's open project async.
I don't know. Oh, wait.
Yes. Cool. So we also need to make this anonymous function async. Yeah. And now we're good to go. Cool. And we pass in the project file path. Oh, yeah, but we can't pass in the file info. So how do we get the path of this file info?
Full name or something like that.
Full name sounds good. Full name sounds very good.
Full name.
Cool.
Woo!
Now we have the project, and now we can pass in the project. We also, cancellation token. I think via the invocation context, we should also be able to get a cancellation token.
Easy. Okay. From the context.
Yep.
Get cancellation token.
This will be then
wrong.
Via this cancellation token, that one will be set to cancellation is requested when during the command line you hit Control-C, for example, or some other means of terminating this command. I'll also pass this in here because Open Project Async also takes a cancellation token. So we're using, which overload do we use? Yeah, we don't want to report any progress, but we also want to use that cancellation token. Cool. I think there is not an overload that just takes, yeah. So we need to pass in null here, but it's nullable, so everything is cool. And then we get to report. Yes. Now report async actually gets us a nullability report. Now we want to write this to the console.
Okay. Console? No. Right line.
Yeah. We don't want to. No. Yes, we could, but we don't want to. We don't want to. Well, then we can't really test it because we put it to the console, but not into our facility. Because in our for the unit tests, we pass in a like a console that we control and add to a list and can then assert to, like a test console. And I think the invocation context should have some. Yeah, the invocation context has an iConsole that we can use to write to. So that should be just be the context. We can access the console.
Text. Console? Out?
No. To the out, yeah.
To the out. To...
No. I mean, yes, we write to the output stream. Yeah, out is correct. Not to the arrow stream, but to the out stream. And there is now write and write line, I suppose. Yeah. But what do we write to? Now our nullability report has a I don't like that effect.
Do we need to
not leak the mutable?
Oh no. Now we have 53, don't we?
No. We do this in this issue.
Okay.
So we have a collection of warnings. So how do we print all of them in to the output stream?
Do we need to have like a loop thing?
Indeed we do.
Okay, awesome.
I guess technically you could also solve it with link to merge.
Well, in that case, let's
merge our collection of strings to a similar string, to string join, but this wouldn't be all too efficient. Well, we could do it via a string builder under the hood, but I would prefer from performance perspective to just invoke write line multiple times and avoid the building this collection to a singular string that we then write in one go. I would like to just do the loop thing and write line from performance perspective. I guess for like the link version more, we could also do that.
Okay. Even though you make one of our viewers sad.
Yes, I'm apparently biting my lip because I really like performance.
It's okay. We can just this once. We will use link soon.
Okay.
Are we doing? What are we doing? Are we? What? Wait. What are we looping through? What are we doing? What am I writing? I'm confused.
So you want to assemble this list of strings to a singular string? Or do we do the loop thing? I'm not sure.
We do the loop thing.
The loop thing. Ah, yeah. Then
Isn't that the performance situation?
Yes, it is. So yeah, we just loop over this list that the report holds and print those elements or write these elements.
Is that for each?
Yep.
For each.
Because
I did it again. I was looking again at the stream. This is so because then I click it twice because I don't see the
result yet.
Letter. Yeah.
I'll just paste this out for now.
Okay. Item. No, for each.
I think those are strings. It's currently just a list of strings that we have. Yeah.
String.
Yeah. I guess it's a warning. This is what we get
in warnings.
No, it's in the report. The report has the list, the collection of. So well, it's not the report itself is not enumerable, but the report has something that is. Ooh, we could also make the report enumerable. Well, we could think about that. Yeah, maybe we do that. Okay. Anyway, let's first get it working, then we refactor. Yes. Oh, we call it diagnostics. Okay, then we guess should also call it not warning but diagnostic.
Diagnostic.
And then we just write it to the string. Ooh, my bad. It's actually it's a collection of ID and message. My bad. So this is string ID, string message.
Okay.
This is what we got. So we actually have a tuple. And oops.
And then here, dot right line. Diagnostic.
And okay, what do we? Well, we can't do because it's a tuple. We need to the ID and the message. So we could do string interpolation, or we could do. Well, we could even avoid string interpolation. We could first write the ID, then write like colon space, and then at the end do a white line with the message. You know what I mean?
Let's see. I'm not well. I can't duplicate a line. Is that right? That's very
Control
sad.
D working. Control D.
But I did it. Oh, apparently I didn't do it.
Maybe we have a different keyboard.
Yeah, we do. I can't do it.
Alt Shift down or something? Control Alt down. There's different layouts.
Control Alt down. No. But I did something. Did I do something? No. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna copy paste it like in the old days before I knew any keyboard shortcuts. So and then you said you wanted to wait. I already forgot. What did you say you wanted to print afterwards? Like a space or something, right?
Like colon space.
Colon. What's a colon?
Doppelpunkt.
Colon, Doppelpunkt space. Ah.
And then we white line the message.
Console. Oops. Out. Right line. Woo! And then diagnostics dot message. Okay.
Since we what we could do, hold on, could we? No, never mind. Was thinking wrong yet. Okay, cool. What we could do now is run the test. That's what we could do. And see what we get. One. No. Do we have a compile error somewhere?
Nope.
Specs. Run. Ooh, because I renamed the test, I think, and then it was out of sync. Okay. And what we get is nothing. That's
okay. Well, did we use it? Did we call it? Yeah, we
good
did.
point. Good point. Are we missing something? Let's see if our setup is working as expected.
Maybe
if we were to, yeah.
Do we have a typo in the commands?
Well, if we wouldn't invoke the command, then we would get the help output if the command doesn't exist. Report. Let's see what happens if we just run our application directly. We get. Wait, this was not. There we go. Oh, I was running. I can also run the test via that menu. Cool. Did not know that. Pitch up. Position 1. Position 1. No. I was expecting a different shortcut. There we go. Build version. So. Specify a project file. Yeah, okay, but that's cool because, yeah, we try to load a project. So we actually invoke nullable report actually does invoke our code. So why is our test here not too satisfied? We also say nullable report that will create those args. Yeah. And then we should.
Do we enable? Wait. Do we already enable this nullable warning thing?
Ooh, maybe we don't. Ooh, yes. Let's print. Very good point. Maybe we just don't have any warnings. Let's print some header, some info like, hey, here are your nullable warnings for project name. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If we like just before the loop, print out some info, and yeah.
Sorry. I need to escape some pop-ups again. It's very, very tricky for me. Okay. Out. I've got a pop-up again. Right line, right? No.
I'll just control space it because the L is uppercase.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
Here are your warnings. Your warnings.
Let's see if we get that information. No, I'm not sure anymore what test it is, so I'll close everything and run that again. And we get.
Hey!
Cool. Okay, so we actually don't have any warnings. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Cool. Not cool, but cool. I'm not sure what's going on. Nullability. So because if we go now into our nullability reporter, we get into project, we will enable the feature because we are on a C#7. Do we get any other? Because in a C#7 project, I think I have the feeling. Let's see, I'll just for diagnostic purposes, let's add some other information to this collection. Let's add ID and some text that we will just extract something, some information. So we have project. We actually have the compilation options, right? We don't have the parse options, so we can ask the project to give us the parse options. Well, we need to cast them into C# parse options because the project is generic and doesn't necessarily directly know it's a C# project, but we know And now we can get a hold of the language version that was in use. And I would assume, well, it is certain because you're using framework 4.7.2, this should be 7.3. And it may not be working because of that.
All right.
Yes, it is indeed C# 7. 3. So maybe we need to actually also bump the language version to C# 8 if it isn't set to C# 8. But just for now, let's get rid of that again. Get a hold. Yeah, how do we set the parse options? We currently don't do that, so we say just duplicating the logic from upstairs, from above. Current parse options. We get a hold of the parse options. We change them to C# parse options. Now we set the language version. Wait a minute, is this settable? How do we set? Oh, there must be a with language version. This is how it usually. Yes. With language version C# 8. Now we need to ensure we need to have a test that don't lower the language version, only increase it. Because if we would go to a lower language version, we may be using features and now it doesn't compile anymore. So we have our new C# parse options. There we go. And now we'll ask we need a new project. The new project to be again, so we use the old new project with parse options. The new C# parse options that now use C# 8. And let's see, well, maybe let's bring that in again to see if that actually works. And then we say project. This needs to be new project, of course. Now we want to test again. And it could work now. And yes, here's the one. Possible nullable reference return. So we get exactly that. So maybe this is what we should expect in our string, in our test. Cool. Now let's get rid of that. And do a test. And let's expect not something, but let's expect. This did not work. Oh yeah, because it's Control C. I'm using Control C, but this is canceling. Had this problem last time already, haven't I?
Yeah, we did.
It's Control Shift C.
Okay, I tried the same thing.
Yeah, you actually see the output here as well, do you?
Yeah, I see output.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
I can do anything.
You can do anything. Yes, you can actually. You could actually open a terminal and do some cool stuff on my machine. You could. Maybe not during the live stream, please.
Okay.
That would be very kind of you. And it is red because, we don't assert, hey, here are nullable warnings for you. Control Shift C. There we go.
Yeah. Do we need that? Do we want to get rid of that? No? Okay. Let's put it in the assert then. I mean, it's just...
we turn things around. Well, we can just list them. Well, maybe some information what these are would be helpful.
Yeah, you're right.
But what we could do if there is none, no, we have a test. We have another test case later. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here's another. Now I remove the other. This one. So.
Wow.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
Actually, I think Windows has a feature, I haven't enabled that, to have a history of your clipboard so that you can even walk your clipboard history.
Yeah, I think I always forget what it is, and then I just press all the combinations, and then at some point it just works. I literally used it today, but it took me like 4 attempts.
Since it's Windows, then Windows C
Yeah.
and Windows Re, I think.
Could be.
Damn it. For here your output, yes. It's going to match here your warnings.
Warnings. Okay, should we just have a star before?
Ooh, my bad. Yeah, those exclamation points, those exclamation marks are not what we expect. I had them
Not
from, I
exclamation.
pasted wrong.
Are they? Oh, they are. Oh. Isn't that? Oh, never mind.
Not here your warnings. Oh, I think, okay, no. Just removed another new line at the end.
Oh, the quotes, they're not exclamation points.
Okay, yeah, maybe we should do some starring. Oh yeah, it's Windows C and Windows V for inserting from the clipboard. But I think I've disabled that. If I do that now, what happens? Can't show history. Turn on.
Oops. Oh yeah, I have it disabled as well, but it asked me to enable. But on my work PC, I need it.
Yeah. Not sure what to do wrong. Yeah, maybe we do some stars too.
Yeah, I like stars.
There may be some new line issues. Here are your warnings. Here are your warnings. I don't get it.
Here are your warnings. Is this something?
Not. No, I don't know.
No, probably with like spaces or stuff like that,
maybe,
right?
Like new line things, maybe. So maybe we do a star at the beginning, a star at the end.
Yeah.
No.
How?
Should have output. Ooh, because we have a. It's taking this.
Oh.
Should match. Okay. Oh, is it a match? With an output pattern, we use in fluent assertion the match, and this allows wildcards. The star and the question mark. Not sure why this still doesn't work. Is this exactly what we print, right? Here are your warnings.
Yes.
Here are your warnings. Then we have our warning here. I'm not certain what's going on. Damn it. String comparisons. No. Your warnings. So we have our full output. We expected console output to match here are warnings, but here are your warnings, possible does not match.
Why?
I don't know.
Is there like a, at line, blah, 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 character, blah, 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 it's not matching? Or
No,
around?
there isn't. No. Maybe if we don't do a match thing, but an exact check. Yeah, maybe something with new lines or spaces, most probably. But actually, do we, because we do a match? What if we use not the match feature, but the B? Maybe we then get some helpers with where the error is.
Yep.
Oh, yes, we do. Oh, yeah, there we are.
Yes, I knew it.
It is indeed the new line. We have and that's part of the, okay. Is the solution to, well, we could normalize this. We could normalize the strings so that they have the same line endings. Or we could do maybe a star here. And just no, wouldn't work. Then we would need to have a. Oh yes. Oh, it does. Okay. Cool.
Awesome. Sorry. Outside
And
there's a
passing test. The other test I wanted to add is, what if we don't have any warnings? So we actually return a good string here, or string.empty. Well, doesn't matter. It's the same. Now we would expect, what should now our output be? Do we expect some message that no warnings were found or something?
Yes. You have not been warned.
You have not been
That
warned.
would be really funny. Not hear your warnings, but you have been warned. Something like that. Okay. No.
You have not been warned, and we do. You have been warned.
I mean, I would find it funny, but I'm not sure if it's like actually practical.
Maybe for the production tool, maybe not. Yeah, maybe we can have some Easter eggs maybe in our testing.
Yeah,
to help us, but maybe not in the production code. We no nullable warnings found would be kind of the technical thing. What do you think about that?
Yeah, love it.
Without nullable warnings, display
nothing. Display no warnings.
No warnings. So this test will most likely fail. And it does because we say, here are your warnings. Would you like to fix that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. If.
Yes.
Is it like, sorry, can you like hear the football game that's going on outside my window?
I can't.
Okay, cool. That's good. Someone's winning. Right. So if let me think. If so wait, if
I like that. But let's come back to that in a second.
I didn't see it.
We'll come back to that.
If diagnostic.
Well,
No.
this is here is our collection, the report.diagnostics.
Report.
So this is the collection that we have. So diagnostic
null empty?
Yes, exactly. No. How do we check if a list is empty?
Is there like a is empty?
Well, let's see what we have. Well, first, let's do report.diagnostics because we want to go into the diagnostics collection.
Oh, yes.
And now let's see what properties are on diagnostics. There's actually many ways you could do now. No, we need a property, not a method. So there is either capacity or count. Capacity tells you, because the implementation detail of a list is it's backed by an array. And if you add to a list, but the underlying array is not big enough to add this new item, this array will grow. And the internal implementation is this internal array is not growing every time you add, because this would be performance-wise quite wasteful. It will always double the capacity. So you will start with 4. When you add 4 items, all is good. Then you add the 5th item, the capacity of this array will grow to 8. So we'll actually create a new array of size 8, copy the old elements over to the new one, and then now you have 4 more elements, and you can add. And when you exceed that, then it goes to 16, 32, and so on. So the capacity shows the size of this underlying implementation detail, and the count is the amount of elements that are actually that you have added, or when you remove, then this count will be removed again. So we can check the count of this collection, of how many items are actually in it.
And so, but we could also use capacity. right?
Technically not, because if you add an item, now the capacity is 4. If I remove this item again, count is 0, but capacity remains 4. So no.
Is that better? And use your favorite number.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. And yes, now we know no elements found.
Easy. Okay. And then I'm just gonna copy this because it's late and I make spelling mistakes, but we want to write.
Oh yes, Thorsten Training suggested to use your project is nullable ready.
I love it. I love it. That's perfect. Thanks again for spending the evening with us, because literally, like, the quality of this tool has improved. No, you got rid of it too quickly. Yeah.
Oh, so excuse me. I always get
nullable ready, right?
Yeah.
Nullable
yeah,
ready. Yeah, the quality of the project has improved substantially with your input, especially with naming and English and link and all the other things where they are concerned. Okay.
What do you prefer? Do you prefer returning here, or do you prefer this in an else block so that we don't run the rest of the code?
Good question. No. Return what? Return nothing.
Nothing.
Return.
Just return. Because this
this
is void. We could actually do. Well,
but did you see? Oh no, it's red. Sometimes it goes red. I swear.
Yeah, maybe because I did something up there. So we actually return a task, but if you return in an async method, then it's basically the equivalent as if it was a void method and you just return. And void is no type, so don't return anything. So you just say return. If it was a task of t, task of int, for example, now we would need to return 5 or something. But since it's just a task, we can just say return to stop this method. And now we don't run the rest of the code. And now both tests should be quite green.
Do we assert this though?
No, we assert the other string. Yes, you're right. This test would dramatically fail. Let's see it fail. You did see into the future. Yes. It fails indeed. No nullable warnings found, but your project is nullable ready. Does not match. So we'll just Control-Shift-C that into here. And would now hope to... What does the future tell now if I run both tests?
Could be green.
It could be green.
Yes,
yay! Cool. Now we have basically the feature is quite good. Well, we currently deal only with projects. I guess we also need to deal with allowing explicitly setting the project and also solutions and stuff. But we always solved this in previous episodes already. Maybe we fast forward on that in the next episode a little bit. But I'd also like to do a little bit of refactoring because what I really don't like that we expose this underlying collection here just as is.
Yeah.
Because what the user now could do if the CLI application, I'm jumping around way too much. I'm closing stuff we don't need anymore. What you could do is add to this collection. And also you could ask for something like capacity. The user shouldn't really be concerned about that the implementation detail is a list. So what I'd like to do is actually make this list diagnostics and implementation detail and hide it. Do we use underscores for private fields? I'm not sure.
I have no clue. I completely forgot.
Let's see another type that we have. Let's ask using direct ifs. We have a using counter there. No, that's the thing. Using counter result. Yes, we do use underscores for private fields. And okay, now how do we fix that now? So from a producer perspective, the nullability reporter now, can't add to it anymore. So we could, so we don't have this diagnostics anymore, but we could just add an add method, create method add, that now does this under the hood, where we now add to this underlying list this
Nice.
value tuple diagnostic. And how do we now get these items? So the producer is now satisfied. The consumer, well, wants to ask the question, do we have any items? So let's offer this question. Let's say, should this be a method or a property? Maybe let's do it a property because it's cheap. Public bool is empty, or maybe has, we could do is empty, where we would say, basically now copy this code over, the diagnostic count is 0.
Ah, nice.
We could also do the opposite, where we say has diagnostics, where we say the count is not 0. What do you prefer?
Is the report empty, or does it
Basically here
have
has
diagnostics?
is empty, or do we want to say, does it not have any diagnostics?
It's a good question, for sure. And I can argue for both points. But right now, I lean more towards has diagnostics.
So the report, we have nullability report dot has diagnostics.
Mm-hmm. Is that bad?
Cool.
What do you prefer?
I kind of prefer the is empty, but that's only because, well, actually, no, not anymore. I preferred it briefly because, for example, immutable array, the type immutable array has a property called is empty. This is where I got inspired by the is empty, but our nullability report that's not a low-level structure. That's like a business type. That's our domain type. So we don't need to have any low-level naming. So actually now has diagnostics. We talk about diagnostics. Maybe this nullability report also includes something else. So is empty is too generic. Actually, yes. Now I prefer has diagnostics as well.
Okay, good.
And how do we get now the diagnostics out of there?
Oh no. Well, we need like a get.
Could have, yeah, exactly. We could have a get public. I just return IEnumerable for now. IEnumerable get diagnostics. And yeah, then basically just return this list. Yep. Because this list implements it, and the caller now sees it's IEnumerable, so we don't leak that information. What we could also do, technically, I'm not sure if this is smart here and if it adds any value, but what we could do, we could actually make the report. So now let's call get diagnostics, and maybe let's run the tests to see all is good. What we could do, and I guess this is more.
Okay.
Sometimes it doesn't
it died.
work. Oh, because we have warnings. That's maybe why. Oh, yes. Ooh, our assertions. Ooh, yes, our assertions. No. Let's get back to the assertions. Oh, yeah, because we also need to assert that, because we now need to some asserter as well that checks these. So what we, let's do that first, and then we get back to an alternative, how we could also enumerate the report itself, but we'll get back to that.
Okay.
So where were we? We had warning and we had errors. We need, because we don't have this diagnostics anymore for the assertion. So I guess we can combine this with making our own nullability report assertions thing. Fluent assertion style. So we go to our CLI tests, nullability. We create ourselves a new file. The nullability report, how do we call this? Test extensions, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
Something like that.
let's just call it. Let's just do it all in assertions. Oh no, it's just yeah. We need an extension method. Extensions. And all this, an extension, a type that has extension methods must be static. I make it internal, so it's only within this testing assembly. And do you know how to write an extension method? Would you like to give it a try?
Yes.
So what this method should do is return
yes.
a type that we call nullability report assertions.
Okay.
So maybe let's for now let's write a regular method that just returns that.
Public. Sorry. Copy paste.
In the meantime, I'll create the type so that it starts compiling.
Assert? What do we call it? No.
Should. Because this will be our entry point. Should.
Oh my god. Should.
And yeah, then let's just return a new nullability report.
Nullability report? Yes.
Nullability report. Excuse me. Nullability report assertions, of course.
Okay. Of course.
I was thinking wrong. But how do we now make this method an extension method? I'm just making it internal. How now do we make this and also static, because we're in a static class, so this method must be static. But how now can we make this method an extension method so that it does extend nullability report, so that in our assertion, in our specs, we can write report, which is nullability report dot should. How can we enable that? So we need to turn this should now in an extension method.
So like inherit
something? Not quite, no. I mean, with C# 13, this feature now was removed. There is way more syntax coming around and capabilities around extension methods. But with current C#, there is you need to pass it as a parameter, but in a special way. So we pass in nullability report. Not quite.
Extension?
No.
No. I don't know.
Let's end it at the end. Let's just pass the nullability report.
Nullability report dot extend.
Maybe let's call it report.
Okay.
We'll also pass in the report in there, because this is what we will be asserting on. And now this doesn't work yet. But in order to make it this an actual extension method, you write the this keyword in front.
Oh.
And now you can, when this type, this nullability exploit type is in scope, you can now invoke this should method as if it was a member on nullability report. It isn't, because we don't own the nullability report, and we don't want to add a should method on this nullability report, because we don't want to add testing. We don't want to add fluent assertion in production code. But now the caller could invoke it as it was. We need to put it should be in scope. Yes. And this isn't working because we don't have all of that available, but we'll figure that out. And now we can invoke should as if it was a member on that type. If it isn't, we'll see how we could alternatively. Well, actually, let's do that right away. So if it isn't an extension method, it's just a static method, we would need to write nullability report extensions. Why is this not? Is this not in scope? Should be. Maybe because it doesn't. Ooh, nullability. I did something wrong. Ooh, did I add this to the wrong assembly? CLI tests. Core tests. Ooh, that's the wrong.
You did wrong.
Yeah, I added it to the wrong assembly.
All right. Delete everything. Back to square one. No.
We just go this assertions and the extensions down there. There we go. Move. No. Okay, let's do this in this view. Where in the CLI tests, we assertions and the extension. Move that down here and move that down here. Cool. Now the namespace is wrong, so we move that to the correct namespace. Cool. Okay. Now in this spec, yeah, now it works. Okay. Now we can say nullability extension .should, and we need to pass in the report. This is like a good old regular extension method, static method. But now, since we made this an extension method, we can also invoke should as if it was. It looks like should is actually a method on nullability report, but it isn't because it's still going to this extension method. What is actually happening under the hood, the compiler will exchange this with that. So you lose it. So an extension method is just syntactic sugar that the compiler figures out. It's still this static method. It's still a static method invocation, not an instance method invocation. But you don't have the syntactic sugar of this also what fluent assertion does to enable this fluency. And
if you're interested to learn more about fluent assertions, we have some, well, 1 or 2 really great episodes. One in particular is super, super cool. So you can always head to our YouTube channel and rewatch that. I really recommend it. I think, well, I knew I was going to learn a lot in that session, but I don't think, did you expect us to go this deep into fluent assertions?
No, we were like after 45 minutes already deeper than I ever understood.
Okay,
good. Creating the report. Okay, and now we can write our assertions in this type. What do we want to assert?
Well,
let's jump to a test case. So we have our, maybe let's use the easy one first. We want to assert that, maybe let's write the code that we want to write later.
That we want to see.
So we should, what do we want to write in order to assert that we don't have any elements?
Have no diagnostics. No, should we say BMT or should we stick with the diagnostics like we did before?
I now would go full with the diagnostics and use the same lingo to have it consistent with everywhere. Yeah.
Got it. So like have no
diagnostics. Sounds good.
I did it again. Diagnostics. All right. Okay. That's good.
Now I just hit Control dot to create this method. Oops. And yeah, now we need, now I need to go cheating because I'm so not
Let's go cheating.
Fluent with the fluent assertion low-level details.
Nice.
Where do we have a assertions?
If you too have the feeling of not being fluent in your fluent assertions, head to our YouTube channel and rewatch the episode.
Yeah, I guess I should rewatch it again. I just copied like this thing here. Oh, we also return an AND constraint of nullability report assertions, I think, and we. So, okay. Just getting rid of stuff. So we create a new assertion scope. Then, well, we don't have the inversion thing. And then we match. So we now say that our report dot, well, let's get the, actually, we can use the has diagnostics. Should be true. No, should be false.
Yeah.
We don't expect to have any diagnostics. And then we need to discard the failures because we're handling them ourselves. Oh, we also need the because args. And this we can add string because args. I think are they null or empty per default? they are empty. Oh, and that's an params object. Okay. So string is because empty, and we have here an object params array. And for the condition failures any, fail with, what do we want to print? Maybe expected the report to yield no. Let's use the same lingo, have no diagnostics. But found. Now we need the number of diagnostics. Report.get diagnostics dot count.
Yep.
Now we do some, because we turned this into a enumerable. Enumerable doesn't have a count, so we need to do the link thing.
Woohoo, link. But also, do we not want to list the diagnostics that we find?
Ooh, good point. Do we want to list the diagnostics?
I mean,
or do we just want to say how many we expected none and had some? We could also list them. More detail. What
do you think it's overkill?
If we later on see that, hey, it
that
would
we
be
need
cool to have this information, then I guess it's always cool to add it. Yeah.
Okay.
So do we also want to expose the count of diagnostics? No, well, this is a test. Let's not care about performance too much. That's good enough. And now we should be able to use that. So yeah, I guess we still have build errors. So let's fix the rest as well. Yeah. How do we now deal with the diagnostics that we expect?
We can have.
So what would you like to write here to basically have the same down there?
Report should. Okay, I'm so bad, so bad at naming. Report should have diagnostics count, and then the number, because we want the amount of diagnostics that we find.
Yeah, here we do the count, and also then
potentially.
What we could do is pass in a collection of diagnostics that we expect, and then assume the count from there. And then, because we know how many elements we passed in, and then we say if we pass in 2 elements, we expect the count to be 2. So basically implicitly rather than explicitly. We could also do it explicitly and say should have 2 diagnostics would be cool. Yeah.
So like, okay, report should have diagnostics XYZ and have count 2. Is that what you're saying?
Well, we could inherit. No. We could implicitly use if we pass in 2 elements to have diagnostics, then we can implicitly assume we expect 2 elements. You know what I mean?
No.
So as an implementation, we can basically hide that or combine that. So we could say have diagnostics. Then add the how do we add these? Well, I guess array. Oh no, collection, and we just pass them. And then when we implement that method, we could. We need the same thing again. But we also have let's do a span, I feel. Read only span. No, not sure if, let's see if fluent assertion should should understand span. Well, I'm not sure if it supports spans. Well, we'll find out.
I get it.
String ID. The scrolling is, I still haven't found myself a mouse I like that has a silent scroll wheel. I'm still searching on that.
It's very funny. You can kind of see when the stream is getting, like more intense, it's because the scrolling gets louder.
Oh
Funny.
yeah.
Like if we're debugging something, you will hear the scrolling.
So yeah,
It isn't too bad. Maybe it's just me because
scrolling intensifies.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, well, I still at one point now. It actually annoys. Now I'm annoying myself when I scroll.
No. See, I told you. No, you cannot unhear it. Oh no.
But I haven't found a nice
I
one that I
didn't mean
like
to.
yet. No.
Okay.
Well,
You will.
I need to improve.
I mean, yeah.
And now we could basically, we could combine that. So we say should report has diagnostics should be true.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe let's get the diagnostics. So we can say diagnostic. Oh, those are the expected diagnostics, right? Expected diagnostics. And we have here the actual, or just diagnostics. And we ask the report to give us the diagnostics. And well, we will be iterating. And we then say, and can we hold on? We can't diagnostics. And the end is now the has diagnostics, isn't it? I think we need to go to subject. No. What am I trying to achieve here? Get diagnosed. We can't go back to the original report, can we? Well, we are in
There's no going back.
Scope anyway, so we can just there is no going back. Let's do it like this. We can say get diagnostics dot should have count of 2 to basically have this again, and also be equivalent to. Now I'm wondering if a span works there. No, needs to be an IEnumerable. Well, IEnumerable it is. Cool. And then we do it the same again. We discard the errors to not let this scope fail, but handle this ourselves. And if we have any failures, then we say, well, now we could list all the assertions that we got and all the assertions that we expected. So now we can do the string. Maybe now for a test, for failed test, I think that's cool. Do you want to do this string combining now via link?
Sure. Let's do it. Let's combine some strings.
So we have like here this expected diagnostics, a collection of these.
Yes. Okay.
And we wanna transform them to a new collection. So we wanna do you know which link method to use when we wanna transform?
No. No.
Select.
Really?
Yeah.
Select and then update or oh wait,
and
what am I
in
doing?
the select, we now do the transformation that we would like to do. Because we need to change that into a string. So we now get what's the input? The input is we just say diagnostic. Excuse me. Is diagnostic. Then since select takes a lambda, a function, so we need to say this is how we specify now an anonymous function. Now we do the transformation on the diagnostic, so we can say diagnostic dot to string.
Oh, easy. I could have known that, but it did. All right. Oh no, that's not right. Sorry, that was too quickly tapping to string.
But now we have what we get now. We now have a
We do have a.
We now have a collection of strings. How do we transform this into a singular string?
A collection of strings to a a collection. Well, we can. Well, do we care which one we're taking? Because we could just use first or default or something like that. No?
Yeah, but we want to print the entire list, don't we?
The entire list. Okay, loop.
We could loop and sum it up. Yes.
But we could also.
There's also string has a method for that. So if you take a look at the string type, there is a .join method. And .join takes a separator and a collection of strings that you want to join.
From the C# course from Free Code Camp, by the way.
Ah, cool.
Yeah. It's a really cool course if you want to learn C#, by the way. And it's free. And you get a certificate at the end. It's really cool. What? Okay, we need... Okay, so I don't remember it well, apparently. You said a separator.
It doesn't exist as an extension method. So we need to do that here now. And we pass in first a separator, and our separator will be a new line, because we write a new line.
Is that something? How does...
That's environment.newLine, because then we get the platform independent. No, we don't get the platform independent, but we get, depending on the platform we run on, we get the right new line. And as a second parameter, no, that's just environment.new. That's what's that? Instead of property, that's a property. Yeah. And in here, I'll just pass in this link. And
easy.
Now I missed something.
One more brace param.
Oh, yes, cool. And then we have expected. And we'll do the same for actual as well, which will be on the report.getDiagnostics. We convert all of these to a string. Now I have our actual. So we can now print the expected. Well, we could also add a bit of count. So we could say expected dot diagnostics. Uh-oh.
You get a standing desk.
Cool. So you need to, or will you get one?
I need to. Oh, yeah. I don't think I will because I'm lazy. But yeah, I should.
And what am I doing wrong here with the return? Oh yeah, I should return something. Heavy scrolling. Cool. And now we could. Now let's pass in an additional one. Let's expect one more. I would hope to get we still have compiler warnings. We'll come back. We also get a suggestion. I'm not sure who the reducer is. Okay, well, I'll be learning something in just a bit. First, want to fix the build errors. The symbol environment is banned from...
Ooh. Banned? What happened? That sounds intense.
Rosslyn Diagnostic.
I didn't know symbols can be banned.
Well, there is an analyzer that, where you can specify which APIs you don't want to use. But I am quite uncertain why we get this. And actually, I'm also uncertain why this is a warning, an error in our because we're currently in debug build.
But we're using things that have been banished.
CLI tests. Run.
Banished and banned is not the same word, is it? Sounds similar.
Banished. I think when you ban somebody, then they are banished. No, then they are banned.
No,
I do not know what banished means.
I don't know.
Environment is
maybe it
banned.
doesn't exist. Maybe it's just vanished.
Well, there was a game called Banished, right?
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, there is. I think, did we talk about it before on the stream? Potentially.
I'm not sure.
Okay, never mind.
Well, need to figure out why this is banned.
But that's what I tried.
That's what we want to, yeah. Why is environ banned? Need to figure that out. So do these tests pass now? No, actually fail because we expect them to fail. And we get expected 3 diagnostics, but found 2 diagnostics. And yeah, the additional 1. So that works. And
awesome.
Maybe we should also add expected colon actual colon. So we can now get back to the test, and now this will pass again. Okay, but Tools and Training is suggesting to improve this combination here with a reducer. I'm not sure what you mean.
We could reduce. No, I don't actually know what I'm talking about.
Is that a select? No, that's not a select. How can we produce? Because we kind of need to. We need to transform. Is that aggregate? I think that's aggregate. Is it? Because we need to now have a collection of items to a singular item. Well, not sure if it increases readability, but let's find out. So via the aggregate, we get in, well, this will not be the most performant thing, but let's not worry about performance for now. We can pass in a seed that we will start from and then have an accumulator function. So let's see how this reads. We will get a, so let's get rid of string.join. And we aggregate. We set a seed, an empty string, and then we have our aggregator function. I think there we have the current element and the next element. Or actually, is it previous and current? And then we just say whatever we had previously, we add the current to it.
Oh, nice.
And maybe also this new line thing. This is, let's see if this even works. I think this is the right accumulator function. We have the source and the accumulate. And the function we pass in is accumulate, source, accumulate. So accumulate, source, accumulate. Yeah, that should be good. Now, if we add a third item again, just say free. Can I run the test without scrolling to the top? No. I get really annoyed by my mouse now.
Sorry. I feel really sorry for that.
And don't worry about it.
100% my fault.
And it does. Cool. Okay. And we now have it in a single link call.
Nice.
I haven't used aggregate in ages. That's really cool. Okay. So for performance, this is terrible because we allocate a new string every time we go into this method. Which is kind of paining me, but well, for a test, I guess we won't be able to measure it. We won't be able to feel the impact. So I guess it's cool to do that for both of our expected and actual strings. Why is environment banned? Tools and Training posted a Roslyn issue. Actually, I should be able to copy this now, since I learned how to do this. False positive. Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
Well, we'll go figure it out later, but thank you very much for the hint. Replace with environment.newline C. Cool. What do you think? It was in training. Do you think this reads better than the string join thing? And Basi92 is joining.
Hello. Thanks for joining.
Saying that this
We're just
this toast,
linking around. Sorry?
this toast is even burnt while we're bringing the icon. Yeah, it doesn't look too healthy, I guess.
Well, he's, working on it. It's in training.
It's cool. And now we have a suite of tests. We also have, encapsulated the result of the nullability report a little bit better. And we got now here the hash diagnostics. And the last thing, do you think we have a couple of more minutes for the last idea to finish all the thoughts and not have too many promises for next time?
What is the last idea?
The last idea is so you don't need to write get diagnostics here, but just be able to write for each the report directly.
Oh, yes, let's do it. Absolutely.
Yes?
Let's finish this.
So in order to make a type enumerable, it's more of a shape thing. So, what we could do is we could, excuse me, I need to go to that report type, of course. Nullability report.
Of course.
No, that's the reporter. There we go. What we could do is make this enumerable.
Yep.
Of this. Okay, now we kind of expose this type a little bit more broadly. Maybe we should make this even a proper type, and then we need to implement these members. The member is, so we now make this actually make this. Why do we need these? Do we need these? Am I confusing myself? Enumerable has get enumerator. Yeah, we do need the.
Yep.
Why do we need the enumerator?
So you can enumerate.
Okay, now I'm learning something. Because the enumerable gets the enumerator of T. But why does this enumerable type need? Oh, my bad. I was looking. Here is our code. My bad. Yes, all is good. That's embarrassing. No, I just all is good. We need to implement this get enumerator method, but also this non-generic get enumerator method, because for backwards compatibility, at the beginning there was no generics. So at the beginning there was only this enumerable type, which is non-generic without a T, which just returns object. But then later on, I think it's C# 3 or .NET 3. No, C# 3. We got also generics, and for compatibility now, enumerable is also implementing the non-generic version. So we need these two. And now, I guess of course it doesn't work, but if we just return this, we can't now return a diagnostic, but get diagnostic has a get enumerator method.
There we are.
We're basically now enabling, because what happens when you for each something? When we get a list of string, or any list, let's call it list. We need system.collections.generic. The compiler actually requires this method, string item in list. Now the compiler calls getEnumerator. And then on this on the enumerator, this is then the IEnumerator that we saw. The IEnumerator now has two methods. It has the current. Well, this is now, again, the generic version, so it's returning a T. And on the non-generic version, on just enumerator, like there is the non-generic one. But more importantly, the move next method that returns a Boolean. So you move to the next item, and if move next returns true, then there was a next item, and current will be set. Then you move to the next item, you get the current. You move to the next item, at some point move next returns false. That means you reach the end of it and stop enumeration. And this is what actually happens with the for each statement. So if we write the for each loop, this is exactly what the compiler does. We get the enumerator. Now we get enumerator, we get the enumerator. So we can now call move next on the enumerator. And while this is true, we get the current item and then do stuff with it. At the end, it's also disposed, but let's not think about that too much. That was because you could technically then reset the enumerator and reuse it, but that's very rarely actually used. Usually, a enumerator is only used once because when you reach the end, then it's gone. And you can't. Well, with a reset, you could then move to the beginning again and then start from the beginning. But the compiler now with a more recent version also allows this by shape. So we could actually not make this IEnumerable. Because now that our nullability report is actually IEnumerable, that means we enabled the link on it.
Woohoo!
So on our report, we could now say .select and everything that link is, because all these implementations of link, they're just extension methods on IEnumerable. But maybe we don't want our report to be linkable because it's not really a collection. But we still want to enumerate it, so we want a kind of bit of both. So what you could do is not have the IEnumerable, but still have this method that is in the shape of called getEnumerator and returns an IEnumerator of T, which still enables. Where is our for each? Is that in the specs here? No, that's in the code, the reporter, of course. I'm getting confused. There we are. And it still works.
Woohoo!
Because there is a public getEnumerator method. So you can still for each it again, because the compiler for each, the compiler doesn't need the IEnumerable. The compiler just needs a getEnumerator method that it then can call move next and current on. So it's more of a shape thing, more of a pattern matching thing, rather than that it actually needs to implement IEnumerable. For link, of course, we need to implement IEnumerable so that all these extension methods work because they require IEnumerable. And there is also another trick. What if we don't own this type? What if we don't know? Oh, I'm jumping around too much. What if we don't own the nullability report and we aren't able to provide
extension method?
Yes, exactly. Now we say, hey, can't be. This is actually what the compiler says. There is no suitable getEnumerator method. So let's say we don't own this type. We could actually now write our extension method. I do an internal static class my extension methods. Name doesn't really matter. Internal static needs to now be basically this method, but just static, and there's an extension method on nullability report. So we say this nullability report nullable, but we still need to get an enumerator out of it. The problem is we made, of course, this underlying collection invisible. It's private, just for the fun of it, just to enable the scenario and make it public, so that we can, there we are, ask this that's not nullability report. Get the report and go into this underscore diagnostics and get the enumerator out. And now again, this enumeration works.
Perfect.
what if you have both? If we have this get enumerator method both as an extension method and as an instance member on the type itself, do you know which one wins? Or would you like to guess which one wins?
I would guess that the one that's not an extension wins. Yes?
Yes,
Nice.
that's true.
I mean, it was 50-50, but would make sense
well,
because extensions are extras.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's closer to the type, that's closer to home, so it usually has higher precedence. And yeah, so this is how you could write, via this, but as an extension method, you can make any type for reachable, if you would like to do that. Cool. Do you like this report being enumerable directly, or should we make it explicit?
Enumerable directly. So with this method. Yeah.
Direct. So okay. And we don't necessarily need to say get diagnostics to make it, but we allow it directly to be. Cool. So we also have some syntactic sugar there to, I'm always jumping to the wrong file, allow enumeration of our report and print the warnings. As a very last step, let's run all of our nullability specs again.
Oh, specs. Yes.
They also pass. We have 3 of them because we run them for .NET 6, .NET 7, and .NET 8.
Woohoo!
I guess by the end of the year, we'll also run them for .NET 9.
Did you just rerun them? Why? No.
No, the other set. Did I? I thought this was now the integration tests.
No, could be. I didn't completely. Yeah.
Cool. Ooh, we got some more trivia. So all the tests are green, so task completed for today, but there is some bonus. Type call, skip no call even after cast. Trivia. I'm not sure what you mean, Eric. Skip 0 called immutable even after. Let's see. Let's try that.
Let's try it.
So we go to nullability report. I hope this is what you mean. Public I enumerable of, well, our thing. And then we have our collections. Well, let's call this diagnostics. And we say dot skip, which is now link, but we skip 0, which basically means we get all of them. And the collection is now immutable even after a cast. Oh, I think I understand what you mean, because if we if we would do that, if we would directly return this diagnostic, what the caller now could do, because at runtime, this is still diagnostic is actually this list. What the caller could do is cast this enumerable to a list and then add and remove from this list freely again.
And we don't want that, do we?
We don't really want to expose our implementation detail in any form.
Nice.
But if we do skip 0, because this now will, well, this can't be cast anymore to a list now. Because with the skip 0, this will actually call some link method. And, get a thumbs up so I got it right. Woohoo! This is basically no longer a list because it's now an enumerable of a collection where we skip 0 elements. So we still have all of them, but now the caller cannot cast this to a list anymore because it's no longer a list. So with just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters, we can safely return this type without enabling the caller to cast it back to a list and then mutate it freely. So we totally hide and safeguard our implementation detail.
I love that.
Should we keep that on the diagnostic?
Yes.
Because this is actually what I was so defensive about? Well, first, we just directly expose the entire collection, which is super bad. So we can also do this for, now we have a lot of consumption scenarios for this type. We can for each we can get the diagnostics. Well, basically, this is really the same. Actually, there we go. Here, bad thing, because we return the collection, the list, the caller could call it. The caller could cast it to a list. So let's actually do get diagnostics, do this instead. And now the caller cannot cast it back to a list because the list is now gone. It's an IEnumerable. Cool.
Awesome.
I'm really happy with our nullability report type.
Same. Yeah, we did good. And we only went slightly over. I mean, 40 minutes, more or less. That's already good. Awesome. How do we have any last announcements? Are you doing any talks? Are you being famous again?
Not within the next 2 weeks, no. Okay, later this year.
Fair enough.
After the summer break in.
Yeah. So your next presentation will be
October and November. Yeah.
Okay. No, I was going to say your next presentation will be the trivia part of our next stream. Which
oh yes, it will.
When is the next stream?
Yes. We will be back.
Should we run the test one more time? Just in case.
Because we changed stuff. Right? That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Is that fair? Okay.
So, I guess it's always fair to run tests.
One more time. Oh my God. So many. Okay. Looking good. Woohoo! Did it.
More greens. Cool.
Awesome. All right. So I guess we are ready for next time. When will
we're ready for next time? We'll be back. Hold on. What I'm trying to search. Control. What's the shortcut? No. There we go. In 2 weeks minus 2.5 hours. Wednesday,
2 weeks.
The last day of July.
The last day of July. Oh my God, time passes really quickly. So definitely make a note of the day, or if you don't have pen and paper or like notepads available, you can always follow us on social media because we always post when our next stream will be. Also, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or just want to reach out, you can also do that via social media, and we always love to hear from you. There we go. Yeah, sorry, I skipped back and forth.
Figure that out.
It's no problem at all. But yeah, no, thank you guys so much again for tuning in and spending the evening with us, coding and learning and just having some fun. Thanks for also all of your suggestions and help. I really appreciate it, and I think Stefan does too.
Oh yes, always.
And yeah, looking forward to see you next time.
with a C# t-shirt and the wider early access preview.
Oh wow, more promises on stream. So
but we'll be back.